Sultanate of Oman is one of the most economically vibrant countries in the Gulf, and it has a dynamic pro-business environment. Oman Vision 2040 is an ambitious development program that creates exciting long-term investment opportunities. During my stay in Muscat, my colleagues from Oman Sotheby's International Realty and I visited Invest Oman to learn about opportunities for foreign investors and find answers to our questions about the investing process, establishing a company, running a business, licenses, taxes, and getting residency in Oman.
My name is Adnan Al-Salimani. I am one of the investor relationship specialists here at Invest Oman. Today I will be introducing you to Invest Oman, what we do here, how we function, and everything. So basically, this is our website. We have a list of curated business opportunities here. We have more than 48 business opportunities with ready feasibility studies, and we are only looking for investors to finance these projects. We will be dealing with the investor from A to Z, initially from opening the commercial registration to finally to launching the business.
What is the return on investment?
Internal rate of investment varies from an investment to another. For example, in Dubai Luxury Resort, it's 9.4%.
Do you provide any guarantees from the government for
No,
these projects?
the government doesn't provide any guarantees. It only provides you the land and the feasibility study, and then it's up to the investor to have a more in-depth research for the project. But it's most likely to be successful because they have curated a number of business opportunities that have more chance of to be successful in the Omani market.
Do you have also smaller investment opportunities?
Yes, SMEs. We do have SMEs which are less than 1 million Omani riyals, such as the manufacturing, binding wire unit, for example. Now I will show you the other facilities we have here.
Do you need to speak Arabic to run the business here in Oman?
No. At Invest Oman, everybody speaks English. Maybe in some of the ministries, they find difficulties in English, but through Invest Oman, everybody speaks English here. This is what we call the one-stop shop. You cannot have any business here in Oman without a commercial registration, and this is conducted through Senate Service Office. Oman Post is also here for Ministry of Foreign Affairs attestations. Migrate World is also a private office to finish the residency visa applications for investors, the 5 years and the 10 years as well. Any investor who open a commercial registration is directly eligible for 2-year visa, which is applied from here. Then the application goes through Oman Police and you get your residency visa from the police directly.
How long it takes?
You can finish all of the applications in 1 day. Oman Chamber of Commerce is also here to finish the membership certificate. And finally, Royal Oman Police to issue the residency cards.
Do I need already to choose the project, or we can open the company?
You can open the company first without choosing any project. Maybe select the activities that you want to engage with. That's all what matters, is that you select the activities. We have one representative here from every ministry at one place. So we have a representative from the Ministry of Housing, a representative from the Ministry of Health, from Royal Oman Police, Ministry of Heritage and Tourism, here at one place, so that we can access information and regulation easily, depending on the project, depending on the sector. We can get the licensings, the approvals directly from the representative guy linked with the relevant ministry. That's with the government. Private sector, our partners here are Umran, Oman Air, Oman Tel, Mada'in as well, which is the responsible for all of the industrial areas here in the Sultanate.
What is a corporate tax?
Corporate tax is only 15%.
15%, yeah.
And you are exempted from this tax if you have your company in a free zone for 30 years, and you are exempted from this tax for 5 years if you launched your business with Mada'in in any industrial area. Basically, Invest Oman, as I told you before, it offers comprehensive support, services and expert assistance curated investment opportunities as the ones I previously showed you, such as the Dibba Resort and the manufacturing units. Also, we have customized incentives and facilities. The incentives we have here mostly are in the free zones, mostly in the industrial areas. However, these incentives that I mentioned before are only off the shelf. It depends on the project. If a project brings more value to the country, then definitely some incentives can be negotiated with relevant authorities, depending on the in-country value. So the facts and figures about the Sultanate: the area here is 309,000 kilometers. It's quite bigger than our neighbor countries. We have a range of many topographic features here in the Sultanate. We have valleys, mountains, deserts, a long coastline as well. The length of our coastline is 3,000 kilometers, which brings many benefits in terms of fishing industry, renewable energy, because renewable energy needs some tidal and wind, which can be harnessed from this length of the coastline. We have some projects now going in terms of renewables in Duqm and in Sohar free zone. The population is very small, I guess. It's only 5 million, 2.5 million Omanis and 2.5 million foreigners. The average age is very young, 25, which gives many positive points in terms of adaptability. The foreign direct investment until the fourth quarter of 23 has ranked to $65 billion. These are some international indicators about the Sultanate. Our logistic performance index has ranked 43. Our infrastructure, the quality of roads, has ranked 10th globally. And our Salalah port in the south of Oman has ranked second in terms of container port performance globally. Our location is pretty strategic because, first of all, you can access 59 million consumers in the GCC countries, not to mention India, which has 1.5 billion population. We have an FTA, free trade agreement, with all GCC and Arab countries. We have an FTA agreement with the United States, with Singapore, and with some European countries like Norway and Switzerland and Liechtenstein. Another point to consider here is that our ocean, the depth of water, can take the biggest ships in the world, which is not available everywhere here in the GCC countries. However, it's available in Duqm and in Sohar. So any ship can be hosted at Duqm port or Sohar port. This is the investment opportunities that we have here. The map, the free zones that I mentioned before are Salalah, Duqm, Muscat and Sohar. There is one big port and an airport in every city here in Duqm and Salalah, Muscat and Sohar. More than 12 industrial areas across the Sultanate here that all responsible to Mada'in. The lands varies the prices, but an average price is only 1 riyal per square meter for an industrial area. Of course, we have many incentives, such as the 5 years corporate tax exemption in Mada'in and 30 years tax exemption in the free zones. The main sectors that the government is focusing at the moment is logistics, food security, tourism, mining and manufacturing. There is a whole platform linked to the Ministry of Energy and Minerals in terms of mining, where they offer auctions for concession areas on a regular basis. More about the target sectors that the Sultanate is now focusing on is the green cement, and that's mostly because we have large reserves of limestones, and limestones is the raw material for green cement. Green cement is largely demanded in India, and because of our good relationship with India, so the Sultanate is now focusing to produce more green cement to supply countries like India. Tourism as well, the country is focusing to increase our tourism. We have an increase by 20% annually on the number of tourists visiting the Sultanate. We also want to establish a data center here at the Sultanate. We don't have a data center currently, but we are open to host investors for negotiations on establishing data centers. Cold chain infrastructure is also now undeveloped here in the Sultanate. We need to develop cold chain infrastructure because we have an agriculture, we have dates, we have fish, and other products that need to be transported in a specific temperature. And that's where cold chain infrastructure comes. which could help the transportation of fish, dates, and other products here in the Sultanate. We have also some appealing laws and legislations for investors, such as the Foreign Capital Investment Law, which allows investors to own their project 100% without an Omani partner. We have the bankruptcy law, which gives investors a plan. So if they get bankrupt, it's not a dead end for them. There is a plan by the government for them to pay their debts. The public-private partnership law allows cooperation between the public and private. Privatization law as well here, when the government lacks expertise, for example, in a certain service, they can bring a foreign company to just adapt the project. Commercial companies law, finally, protects the right between the partners in the commercial registration. The incentives up to 100% foreign ownership, tax exemption up to 30 years, competitive land and service prices, custom duty exemptions. This is with Mada'an. So basically, if you, for example, open a factory here, then the raw material and the machines that you are going to bring, there will be no taxes for these machines and the raw material. Investor residency up to 10 years and 5 years as well. Foreign companies can easily register, as I told you before, with Sanad office. No minimum capital is required, and the company can be registered in only 1 day. When it comes to Oman Business Platform, of course, first you need to register in Oman Business Platform before registering your company, but this can be conducted and can be collected with Sanad office directly once you start the process of registering the company. This is the steps that you need to take to authenticate your passport before registering the company. That's it basically. When it comes to company registration here in Oman, as I told you, incentives varies depending on the project. These incentives are fixed ones concerned with lands, with Medan and the free zones. However, other projects are not as straightforward, not in the manufacturing, not just to purchase a land. They required coordinations, they required some in-depth meeting with relevant authorities. All of these meetings can be conducted here through Invest Oman, and these incentives can be negotiated between the two parties.
You mentioned previously about the 15% commercial tax. That's when you have a company. Is it supposed to be in a freehold zone so that you're exempt from this tax?
In the free zones that we have here, Muscat doesn't have a free zone. The most dominant ones are Suhar, Duqm, Salalah, and Al Mizyuna. Salalah, Duqm, and Suhar are highly demanded by foreign investors because of the tax exemptions they get here. Corporate tax can be up to 30 years, and the land prices are cheaper in comparison to our neighboring countries. Same thing goes with electricity, gas, and water.
What do you mean by the tax exemption? I mean, like, you will not pay 15%, you will pay something,
No.
or you will pay nothing?
You will pay nothing. You won't pay the 15% corporate tax for 30 years.
Do you need to be physically present in a free zone?
Yeah. Your office needs to be existing there, or your factory, but your business should be launched on the free zone so that you get the incentives.
How far it's from Muscat, Sohar?
Sohar is only 2 hours drive from Muscat, which is the closest one to Muscat. Sohar is also the closest to Dubai, to Jabal Ali as well. But Duqm is the closer to Africa, so it depends on the exports and imports circle of companies where they want to locate.
And the port is there, and you're building railroad in that area.
Yeah, there is a railway coming now from Sohar directly to the Emirates.
If I come here, can I open a company in a free zone from your investment agency?
Yes, but a representative from the OPAS is the institution for all of the free zones. Mm-hmm. The representative should be with you during the process.
But freehold zones differ from businesses to real estate, right?
Through Invest Oman, we have only one opportunity, which is Dibba Resort. Real estate development can be through Umran, which is under the Oman Investment Authority, and can be through the Ministry of Housing. I can link investors to the Ministry of Housing, to my colleagues with the Ministry of Housing, because they have different projects coming in the next 5 years. Khuwair downtown, Sultan Haytham City, and Yiti, I guess also Yiti is under Umran. So I can only link investors who are willing to invest on big amounts to these projects because they are world class real estate development compounds that needs a specific expertise. And of course, the Ministry of Housing have their own way of selecting investors. They have their own tendering system. But once I revise the proposal, the business plan of investors, then I can direct and approach the Ministry of Housing or Umran. In terms of residency visas, we have the 5 years and the 10 years. The only requirement for the 5-year residency visa is that your assets, your company assets, should worth 250,000 Omani riyals. These assets include the machines, the raw materials, even properties under the company. If it's worth 250,000 Omani riyal, then you are eligible for 5-year residency visa.
And for 10 years?
It should be 500,000.
Could I bring foreigners to work for me? For example, I have a company
Okay.
elsewhere and I want to open the company here. Can I bring my employees with me? What is the regulations for them? Do you know?
Yes, it depends on the Ministry of Labor gives you certain amount of employees that you can employ in your company. And this is depending on the project. You cannot, for example, open a small coffee shop and expect the ministry to give you, for example, 20 employees. No, it depends on the scale of the project. Big factories, they can give up to 20, 30 employees. However, a small shop, they only give 3 or 4 employees.
Oh, but for example, Mr. Sander, he decided to open his media company here. And he needs the guys.
Surely, you cannot open a company and you be solely working on
Is
the
there
company.
any like
and to pay.
limitation with the salary you have to pay to the foreigners? So I don't know.
Minimum salary?
There is a minimum wage of 325 Omani riyals. This is the minimum wage we have here, which is $1,000. $1,000. This is the minimum wage. But in the private sector, it's always a private contract. So it's between the employer and the employee. Once they deal on certain salary, that's between them.
And then they will have a working permit and they can live here permanently, right?
They can get the 2-year residency, 2-year visa, and then be renewed.
And every private company needs to have Oman national employees, right?
Omanisation. Yes, Omanisation is also part of the system here. Omanisation is very low on the free zones. It's only around 25%. So 25% of the whole company workers should be Omanis, but doesn't apply everywhere. Only on the free zones.
And in Muscat, what is Omanisation? What is the percentage?
The Omanisation system is a bit more complex. It's calculated with the Ministry of Labor.
For the IT company, like digital companies, small and medium-sized businesses, what is the best free zone?
Well, you don't need a free zone for a digital company. For a digital company, I would recommend locating in Muscat because the services and the clients are mostly dominated in Muscat when it comes to digitalization. Free zones are more about manufacturing, oil and gas, renewable energies, big car companies. It's more about manufacturing, more about exports and imports.
What about internet speed in Oman?
Internet speed is very good, actually. Very good. We have many different operators here that are always challenging each other on best prices and who gives better offers. But the speed, Viper Optics, is everywhere now.
Can you tell us more about the highest investor nationalities in the country?
There are from India, from GCC countries, Saudi, Emirates, Egypt, Qatar.
We saw a chart for UK as well.
United Kingdom, yes.
Okay. Are they still at the top?
Yes, at the top. United Kingdom is at the top, especially when it comes to ties with the government.
I have a question about opening bank accounts because there are rumors, for example, from UAE, because sometimes people come to free zone in UAE, open a company, and then they have some difficulties, for example, to open a bank account. And sometimes it can take several months, to wait.
In the Emirates?
Yes.
To open a bank
to open a bank account. How it works here in Oman?
Here in Oman, you don't have any difficulties to open a bank account. You can open a bank account in one day. Maybe the limitations are only different in the currency that they are going to open the bank account for you, or the limitations you get in international transactions, depending on nationality, I guess.
But you need to have residency to open bank account.
You need to have first a commercial registration. And once you get the commercial registration, you can have the bank.
If you make commercial, you get the residency.
You get the residency directly.
But
yes.
it's not requirements for residency, just commercial registration, and then you can bank.
Yes.
There is no capital requirements to register a company.
Yeah.
So I come here, I register as a company. Do I have the right to come to Oman and stay here?
If you come to Oman with a tourist visa, right?
Yes.
You come with a tourist visa, then you cannot be an investor here.
Okay.
With a tourist visa.
Okay.
The first step is the commercial registration. Should be done to launch any business here, to open a bank account, to rent an office. It's a must.
As soon as I have a commercial registration, I open the company. Can I have a special visa to enter the country?
Yes, you get a 2-year visa.
2-year.
2-year residency visa. You get a 2-year residency. Once you have the application, you will get it ready. After you exit the country, most people go to the Emirates, for example. It's the nearest place here. And come back again. Once the re-entry, you get the residency from the same office.
So it doesn't need to invest already to
No.
50,000. Just register, get this.
Yes. The investment,
residency.
the 250,000 is that for the investor residency visa. That's a different matter. That's the 5 years. But
2 years.
for 2 years, you can just have the commercial registration.
Basically, I came here. I like it. I said, okay, I want to open my, I don't know, yoga studio. What should I do?
First thing, you need to come here, any Senate office here in Oman, any Senate office. Open a commercial registration, then insert the activities that you are going.
Open the commercial registration. What I need to have? I have passport.
Your passport only.
Only my passport.
Only your passport, yes.
And you need a bookkeeper here in Oman? Is it a complicated
Bookkeeper.
accountant
Accountant for what exactly?
for your company?
Not all companies here have an accountant.
Okay.
Depends on the scale of them.
If you have a small company,
If a small company, I don't think you would need an accountant. Especially we don't have a very complicated tax system here. It's needed if, for example, you are in Europe. Once I worked there, once I stayed there, it's the tax system. You need a consultant for it or an accountant. But when it's brief and standard, then everything should run smoothly without an accountant or any consultancy. Maybe some legal, you would need some legal consultancy, but accountants are not very needed.
Interesting.
interesting.
Do you pay taxes for employee?
No. No. Only corporate tax. The only tax at the moment in Oman is the corporate tax. There is no income tax.
Is it complicated process to find employees, to hire them,
No, in Oman you would find employees easily.
and to fire them?
To fire them, always when it comes to private sector, it's up to the employer himself.
Okay.
The employer is the big boss. No one can argue with the boss. But when it comes to the government, it's different. Government have their own system, regulations, policies. Firing should be based on a reasonable matter. But I would believe same thing with the private sector. You cannot fire someone without any reasonable matter.
Do you want to explore investment opportunities in Oman? If so, please write in the comments. My colleagues from Oman Sotheby's International Realty and I will be happy to help you find new home and business opportunities in Oman. All our contacts are in the video description below. And like the video and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you won't miss anything exciting in the future. That's all for today. See you again in Oman.